Hello everybody. I'm just getting myself comfy. It's a really hot chair. How is everybody today? This is Friday. Don't even know what date it is anymore. I've completely lost the plot. But I know it's Friday and that means we're coming up to the weekend. So I'm just going to see if anybody is going to connect with me today. I didn't actually put a lot of advertising out this morning. Because I was in the moment, which is great. What I'm going to look at this week. Oh, hello, Jill. Good. Nice to see you. I'm very much in the present today, Jill. I'm just doing what I feel in my flow, which is great. I'm going to be looking at what's coming at the weekend, the energies for the weekend, and also have a look at next week. Afternoon. It is afternoon, isn't it? It's 1 o'clock, isn't it? See, I put 12, but it's 1 here, isn't it? See, I don't know what day it is anymore. I really don't know. Now, I've got a little bit of a stiff shoulder today. Had a bit of a nightmare last night. Just literally a nightmare. And Winnie is back with us. She's behind me and keeps biting me, so apologies if I scream out. She's completely back to normal after being spayed. It literally took her a few hours and we had it was like nothing had ever happened. God forbid if we could heal that quickly. But I'm really glad that I did it because there was a lot of yowling first thing this morning and I really think that the cats next door were having a bit of a go. So I'm really glad that we got her sorted quickly. So what can we look at for next week? I know a lot of people are feeling, I don't know, I'm getting a sense of discontentment. So I'm pushing everything around here. I've got too much going on this desk. Maybe, I don't know, feeling a bit flat at the moment, like there's nothing really inspiring them. And I feel like we're going into a little bit of a dark tunnel. You know, when you're on a long journey somewhere, going abroad, and, you know, suddenly you hit these really dark tunnels and you always forget what the sunlight's like because it's so long. And you think, oh my God, if I broke down in this tunnel, how on earth what would I do? You'd just be walking for miles. It just feels endless. And, sorry, all that banging behind me is the cat. She's chasing one of the cubes at the moment. She'll probably appear in a minute. But there's that sense of everyone sort of taking this downturn. And what I want everyone to be really aware of is this sense of frustration and anger coming in, because when nothing's happening, and there hasn't been anything happening for a long time, and so far we've been able to keep our spirits up by sending funny videos and, you know, keep contacting each other, and what's your favourite food, and if you were locked on a desert island, what would your favourite musical be, and all these things, and they're just rolling on, and people are still doing it. Some people are going into complete crazy now and off the scale, which is great. But there's a point, and what I'm picking up is some people, it's almost like it's not helping anymore. It's sort of like it's had its, something's had its day, like car boots have not had their day, but they've changed. Things are starting to change, and people, even though it's kept our spirits up, and it's really great, and I'm thanking everyone for sending me lovely cartoons and funny messages, because it is really, really thoughtful, and it does help if we're all doing it. There's a point for some people are doing it to help themselves feel great, but it's starting to lack in excitement now. The fun's starting to wane a little bit. And, where we were sort of really excited about, Wednesday night quiz night, Sunday night quiz night, online bingo, let's go and do a great big exercise workout. It's all getting a bit like, because every time we hear this lockdown is extended, it's like part of us, me, are going, keep it going a bit, because I've still got stuff to do and I've got a lot getting on, and I'm really, really busy myself. And for those of you who are self-employed or very creative and got loads of things that they're always wanting to get done, this is the perfect time. And some people are going into real deep meditation and getting to know themselves better, and they're loving this feeling because they're really sort of opening up, their minds are expanding. So that's again, but then there's this sense of like, not again. Because even for the likes of myself and people that are still working towards things, there's that sense it's getting hotter, you know, especially in Spain, and the seaside is calling, and, you know, and as much as I've got the roof and I'm making it a nice little domain and an outdoor place to go, it's sort of like, I'm really wanting that long walk. You know, we shouldn't deny ourselves that feeling, or keep saying, oh, you know, we're luckier than everyone else. I mean, yeah, there is that, and I feel I'm a very, very lucky person. You know, I was talking to my neighbour yesterday, and she said something on those lines, do you think, you know, you're a lucky person? I said, yeah, extremely lucky. I find myself in situations where people come in and pick me up, help me out, give me a hand, you know, in the darkest times. I think the darkest times have been the emotional ones, but, you know, when it comes to moving forwards, whenever I've been sort of left alone, something comes in just at that point. So yeah, just call me lucky, because I am. But I just, you know, I'm really aware of that, and I'm sure other people are, because we've got roofs over our heads and we've got food in the pantry, and the pantry, that's a bit old fashioned, isn't it? Sorry, I'm sitting on a furry unicorn. It's a bit wonky, so I've just got to get my bum cheeks settled. There's, you know, there's this sense of we need to be full of gratitude. We need to feel lucky because we've got stuff, and we're not sort of in outback Africa or something where, you know, there really is famine or something. We haven't hit that yet, and I don't think we will, because we do have too many resources here, and we are lucky in all the country, you know, European countries and England, America. But there is a time where you do get a little bit like, ugh, you know, and your energy goes down, and you just think, I'm not sure I don't think I can laugh at another cartoon, or I'm not sure I can make another funny little film, and I'm uncertain I'm able to write an inspiring amount of words, and that's okay, right? And what I would say to you right now, because the frequencies, the Schumann frequencies, which are the vibrations around the earth, you can go and look into that a little bit further. I'm not going to go into science right now, but many of us have been feeling really, really drained just over the last few days, really exhausted, maybe a bit heady, maybe a bit heart fluttery, you know, a feeling of like, oh, I'm not in my body. Personally, I felt like I was literally shifting into a new skin, completely new skin. It's like the universe has gone, here's your new body, this is the one you're going to be in now for the rest of your life, but you're going to have to sort of get yourself in. It's like a bit of PVC, you know, if you've got one of those PVC full body suits and you're trying to get your legs in and everything. And so during that time, I had leg aches, a couple of days ago, my back was just, it was like I was spreading wings. I was like, then my arms are hurting, my hands, my eyes, my head, my neck. This morning, my shoulders are going, but that's because I was doing some clearing last night, which I'm really glad about, and I'm just still shifting that through. See all these sort of exhaustion, these pains, these, you know, it's like growing pains. You know, see that as your transformation. This is you coming into your own. This is you growing. And if you've been working on yourself and you've been dealing with your own issues and going further and further and further, you're going to find that you're going to resonate more with all the energies around. You're going to be probably more on a high, but also feel a little bit out of yourself and even more out of control than usual, which can feel very overwhelming and almost suffocating at the same time. So free, you've got nothing to hold on to. So if you're feeling a bit low at the moment, or you're feeling a little bit drained, go and have a sleep. You know, go and look after yourself. This time of lockdown is a perfect time for self-care. Stop feeling guilty. Stop thinking about what everyone else is doing or what you haven't achieved. If you're doing a little bit every day, whether that is getting up and cleaning your teeth or washing your hair or making sure you've got enough food for the day or sweeping the floor, or, you know, and you're acknowledging that you are doing something. If you're sitting moaning about it and thinking about it and winding yourself up, you're actually taking away more energy than you started with, and it's a complete waste of time. So take that side of things. If you're feeling tired, acknowledge it and go and sleep. Okay, take that time. If you are feeling bored, then just connect with where that's coming. You know, what's going on really? You know, start working with yourself. But just, I feel you've got to sometimes just sit with the pain. You've got to sit with it and just go, this is who I am. This is how I'm feeling. And eventually it will just release, because that little part of discomfort inside you is saying, help me, please. things, just say hi. I'm just really lonely down here and I just want you to acknowledge. And that's why I'm bashing my way through your skin and letting you know, I'm letting you know something inside you that is either out of balance or needs to be addressed. So take everything as a sign. It's a positive way forward. Now, this weekend, there is a lot of luck around on an emotional level if you can tap into that. And we've got a lot of driving force energies coming in where people want to get things done. And this is, again, you need to sort of like, again, stop putting pressure on yourself, because I feel like people are forcing again, They've released some burdens and then they're bringing them all back on themselves. And I know this because I do it myself. But there's, what I'm saying is just be gentle. Allow yourself to flow through all these energies and just take one day at a time, one step at a time. And as long as you're acknowledging and you're taking care of who you are, you will come out the other side. And this long tunnel that has been going on and on and on and on will suddenly just open out and it'll be absolutely bright sunshine and it'll be wonderful. Now, there is a lot of abundance to be had this weekend. I feel like by learning about yourself, going deeper and connecting with those issues and things that you've been baby suppressing will bring you much more abundance in general, because you're taking time for yourself and you're committing to yourself and you are adding value to your life. Now, you may find that some people are being very stubborn around you, particularly males. I don't want to say it, but I've heard it a lot from people. That sometimes, a lot of people are, they are creative types, they may be very spiritual types, doesn't really matter. It's that feeling of like, I'm just seeing the male energy reverting into the child. It's like they are going back into themselves, they are reconnecting, but they have to go backwards and reconnect to those childhood sort of demands, and what they want, and attention and recognition. And there's this anger that's building up. And this is what I'm saying is, if you are a man watching this, then watch that anger. And if you were a female and you're around a male, then do your best to sort of just keep sending in some healing and cleansing, and don't get wound up by it. Don't allow that person to project that frustration onto you, because it's not worth it. Now, relationship wise, I feel there's more value to be gained this weekend, although that some people may be at odds. Okay, there may be an argument rising, there may be a disagreement happening. Step into your own, be independent, and know that you are powerful in yourself. That if you trust completely and something is telling you to trust that, even if it's not a reality. You don't have to fight your corner. You don't have to justify everything you've done in your life or do in your life. You don't have to justify why you feel something. Just know it, and you can voice it if you need. But if it's going to create a battle, step back, because there's no point battling somebody who is not getting it or doesn't want to get it. Some people just want to battle because they want something to change. They're so frustrated they're going to cause an argument. So you don't want to be involved in that. I am getting this Aryan energy, and anyone that is an Aries or connected to that side could be, you could be an Aries going for the fight, or actually I feel it's more like you could be on the receiving end for some reason. There is, obviously, we are in the sign of Taurus, so things are, it could feel more structured, more fixed, and that isn't going to sit well with some people, especially if you're a water sign. You want to float around and you're thinking, I don't want to be structured, I just want to be like in my motions, just connect with the water, but there's more of a tidal wave coming. You know what I mean? It's almost like you can't, you're part of you wants to, and the other part's putting pressure on yourself, which is what I was discussing before. Now, there is a breakthrough coming. I feel it's around sort of midday Sunday. So if anybody does get anything happen, like some news or something shift or some realization, please do comment. Please do leave me some message. It's always good to hear. And thank you to all of you who already do comment and who've sent me some wonderful donations. I'm so grateful. It doesn't normally happen to me, but that was just, it's great to have it. And I just want to know that, I really appreciate it. And quickly, if you would like a private reading, then just go to my website, because all the readings are at a knockdown price at the moment, so that everybody can connect and have the support, and it's affordable. So going on, there is expansion this weekend, and it is going to bring up some surprises. I feel like some people could reach a dream and not even realize they've done it. It's like, oh my God, I just got my head down and did it, and it was amazing. So make sure that you do take time to celebrate. Some people may be finding it hard to be creative, but that may be because they're trying too hard again. There's that force coming in, or they're pushing at something they're not really enjoying. I mean, it's great. Hi, Sandy. It's great to be creative. It's great to you know, if you are creative, you think, I must, you know, be inspired, I must do all this. But if you're not really into it, then you're not really going to get anything out of it. Okay, so if you feel like doing one thing for one day and then moving on to another, then do that. Just be in that flow, keep being in that moment, because we do change from one day to the next. And this shows us that when you go to bed and you have a plan, often when you wake up, it's completely different. Completely, because maybe it's something you've dreamt about, or maybe, you know, you'd had a glass of wine when you were thinking about that plan before you got up the next day, or just it's just a new day. It could be raining when you were expecting it to be sun. So we have so many expectations, we put so much pressure on ourselves. So if that happens, just say, okay, I've got a plan, but I'm going to be flexible. Now, like I say, there could be some differences in opinion and relationships this weekend. And let me look at this weekend. And I do feel that there could be some revelations as well. Okay, this is showing that they may not be what you want to hear. But if it's the truth, it's important. And if you get the truth, at least you can move forwards, guys. You know, that is more important than anything. Who wants to live a lie, really? I mean, it might be great sitting in your bubble thinking, yeah, well, I'm not going to talk about it, because if I communicate and ask, then, you know, I might hear they don't love me anymore. And then that would be really awful. But if I just stay in limbo and feel really frustrated, at least I can believe and there's hope. It's like not cashing in a lottery ticket, because if you do, you've lost your chance of winning. You know, which, yeah, I get that. But, you know, it's like, well, you're almost looking at the bad news before you've even started, but you're also living in a negative. Okay, so you may hear something you don't want to hear, but I feel like truths are coming out at the moment for us to move forward. So take it as a positive if you can. If you need to go and have a cry, have a cry. Feel vulnerable, be upset, that's fine. Let it all out, grieve, and then, you know, just look at the positives if you can. Now, rewards. Okay, this is showing we've got rewards coming. Some people will get some surprises. It's going to be really fun. Or maybe not. But yeah, it's showing that people are putting the effort, that, you know, they're working on themselves, or, you know, and again, I don't mean force when I say effort. This is about commitment. This is about things you maybe done in the past. You've worked really hard, some people out there, and this is like some of the rewards coming back. You know, you may get something nice in the post, like a letter, a thank you letter, a donation. Maybe it is a check you've been waiting for on a Saturday, obviously not a Sunday, because don't get post on a Sunday. Or somebody might just pop round and give you something. You know, I'm seeing these like lovely, not that we can really pop round to people's houses, but maybe something will be left on your doorstep, which would be really nice. I feel like everything that you've been working towards in the past is now coming to fruition, and the rewards are going to be great in the future. So whatever you've got now, use and invest into a dream. Okay, that's the biggest message I'm getting. Think about the big dream now. Don't just be frivolous. If you're a bit up, you know, you've got a bit of extra money, don't just suddenly be frivolous and say, right, okay, come on, let's have a big party and let's just, you know, throw it all up the wall or whatever. Think about why that's come to you now. You know, why have you been given that gift? It's a sign to push you forwards, to allow you to move forwards. And even if it's just somebody being nice or giving you some sort of compliment, that is sometimes enough to get you motivated. Just recently I had a few things happen with my artwork and I was a bit blocked, I've got to admit, and I keep putting stuff off because I'm doing some writing and stuff at the moment, and I've noticed the little things that have started to come up, people saying, oh, I like this, or is that for sale, or is it, and it's almost like, come on, just get on with it, stop putting things off, because I've got to update my website and I'm procrastinating a bit, but yeah, so the little signs, take them in, you know, whether or not you want to do anything with them, it's up to you. Now, the past energy this weekend is the restrictions, it's a temptation. So it could be that some of these things are coming up. There's a third party coming into play, or, you know, the old temptations are coming back, that you're seeing the reality. And I've said to a lot of people, you know, they say, oh, I don't like what's going on with my other half at the moment. You know, they're showing really weird signs, they're being bizarre, they're not being very loving and all this. That's what they've always been like. They've never been any different. But when push comes to shove and you're in a situation of lack or restriction, that's when you really know someone, okay? That's the reality. Because you want to be, you know, really you want to see that someone's going to be great in all the, you know, all the tough times, or, you know, you want to see that when everything push comes to shove, that there's somebody there by your side. But when they're not showing you any support at a point like this, then are they really supportive of you anyway? Are they only around when it's good, when they're having a great time and they're feeling great? Okay, just something to think about. So I feel like things are gonna rear their ugly heads this weekend a little bit. You know, things could come up that maybe you've been denying, which I said before, you know, these revelations, they may not be pretty, but it's going to be worth it in the end, so stick with it. So let's look at next week and the energies around next week. We've got progress, 6 of Swords. This is showing that you are coming to the other side, you're getting closer to the other side. For everybody, we are getting nearer to a resolution of some kind. It doesn't mean we're coming to the end of this phase necessarily, because I feel the fallout. I mean, it's no different than, you know, somebody, you know, massive meteor collision. We're all feeling the effects right now. We're all in that massive explosion, right? But then it's afterwards, after the tsunami, after the great cleansing. What do we do? Then we have to pick up the pieces. Then we have to move forwards. Then we need to progress. So we're in the middle of that right now, but we are progressing and we do have protection. And this, she's floating in her boat and going backwards towards, she can't even see, but she's close. You know, we may not be able to see it, but there's a guide there telling us exactly where to go, directing us exactly where we need to be. The water's calm. The water's calm, and there's a beautiful house there waiting as security, and there's land. So things are moving forwards in our lives, and that's what we need to think about. Whether we're out of this restriction situation or lockdown, we are still moving forwards. All of this stuff that is happening right now, this release, this upside down cake is here to show us the way. And this is interesting because I've got here male, again, I was talking about male energy at the weekend, and I feel like the male energy is transforming. It's becoming more vulnerable. It's learning to become more balanced with the female energy. Now, it's interesting that I'm saying using the male, because it's not necessarily about men, but what I'm getting here is that even women have got a lot of male energy in them, and they can be, you know, they've become more male than female. They've lost how to become vulnerable. They've had to be the breadwinners. They've had to take on the male role. They've had to become strong in themselves, and they've forgotten how to be sensitive because they've become so structured and, you know, power driven. And, you know, I'm not saying just men are like that, because women are, but it's the energy I'm talking about, not the physical. So we're learning to find that balance. We're being given opportunity to connect with our emotions in our masculine, you know, in our masculine self, but connecting with it, you know, just balancing everything out and reconnecting with ourselves. And this is about our connecting with our heart selves from the past as well. And I feel messages are coming, and new inner strength is coming next week. Soul connections, dreams coming through that we haven't had, you know, that with people in it that we've gone, oh, what's that all about? Who's that? Crazy people, you know, that are showing us how to redirect our emotions, how to work through this energy. Everything is changing. The frequency is changing everywhere. So, like I said, you might be feeling weird heart flutters, or like, oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack. Some people can't cope with it energetically. So high. When it's off the scale, it's just like, I mean, I'm just like buzzing out my head at that point. You know, some people may have been getting headaches, or like I say, aches and pains. But what's coming in next week is I feel a more floaty energy, you know, messages help. Messages from spirit coming in to help us move forward and help us progress and get close to that other side, which is where we are. And this is lovely because it's like we're on, you know, we will have experienced the luck, you know what I mean? It's like we're in our own luck, we're standing in our own power, and we're able to make things change in an instant. I think that a lot of people are going to be quite heightened on a spiritual level next week, and really starting to sort of understand that power of manifestation and how the thought is so powerful as well. And I just feel that, you know, we've learned about change, and more people are understanding how quickly change can happen and how much luck we have as well. Now, anyone out there that reads cards will probably be looking at these going, what's she reading that for? But I'm just connecting with spirits I'm reading, okay, just for anybody who wants to know that. I use them as a channel rather than literally reading them all the time. I've got this music card for next week as well, one night only, showing that if you can see this as every day is the last day of your life or the last night of your life, make it one to remember. Think about the end of this. I feel like we are coming out the end of this tunnel very soon, or we're going to have more freedom and more areas to move in. Yes, there is very likely to be a second wave. Don't underestimate, okay? Don't be frivolous. Like you say, if you get some extra money this weekend and you're like, oh yeah, or you get some gifts, don't suddenly just chuck it all up against the wall, because there could be another point. We're showing what this is like. This could be the preparation for a second wave. Be ready, be vigilant, and do what is asked to move forwards and help the collective, because if you do that, then there's less likely to be a second wave. I feel like we've got a chance to connect with our souls, our soul callings this week. And you may find that someone connects with you. You may meet someone online. Somebody else could get in contact with you who haven't for a long time. And you're understanding what that soul connection is. Because I just feel like there's more knowledge coming in at the moment. And we're like, our crown chakras are just opening up, and we're just like vessels of information. But we need to clear out what was there so that we have this clear channel to come through, so we can get the new knowledge. Now, it's new knowledge, but it's old based. It's old stuff, the ancient wisdom that's coming through. Some people are going to get more symbols coming through, more sort of hieroglyphics. I'm getting a lot of Egyptian energy coming through this week. And get a pen and paper, sort of absorb it, whatever you feel inspired to do. I feel like this is going to be a really creative week for everyone. I'm just going to just do the cubes as well. Like I say, this is about, at the moment, find your balance, because if you are feeling down and you're feeling a bit stagnant now because it's getting a bit boring, then it's time to start, doing something that is productive maybe. It's time to stop. Maybe you've been procrastinating or avoiding, and now it's not enough because the sun's got too bright, You put the shades on for long enough, but the sun's just getting in now. It's getting in through the cracks, or the shades are getting old. Could be emotional phone calls this week. I do see decisions being made. I am seeing some contracts being worked, but I think they're obviously coming from inside house working offices, people wanting to actually move forwards. I can get somebody, people saying, come on, should we just make a decision? Should we just go for it? Because it's a new way of doing things. I feel like some things have been locked in or held back, but this is like a new way of approaching it. So, you may think, well, I can't move house because it's 300 miles away and I'm on lockdown. So how am I supposed to do that? And so how am I going to sign the contracts? But there's a new way of doing it, and the contracts are sent to you, and then you can just move at your leisure. Okay, you'll still own it or whatever. Or there's a way of getting there. I don't know, but I mean, it's just an example. So I just feel like emotionally people are going to change their perspective. It's not everything is lost. You may find that a bit of the weekend you're a bit blur or something, but then during the week everything's going to pick up again, okay? And there's new ideas. I'm seeing a lot more inspiration coming out on the internet, social media. So again, new ideas, not the old stuff. This is it's quite inspiring. There's heart flutters going on as well, and that's that sense. It could be the energy changing, that you're feeling these weird heart flutters. Really watch that you're grounded. It's really important that you remain grounded at this point, because you don't want to float off into the abyss. You're so connected that you just lose your head, because it is like you're on that fine line where you could just tip over. So just keep yourself grounded as much as you can, and just think expansion, especially around relationships. So it could be a little bit higgledy-piggledy at the weekend, but by the next week, things are starting to move forwards. And some of you may be walking alone or thinking, hey, I'm going to go it on my own. You may just have that realization that actually, you've been wasting your time and there's no point fixing things anymore. I feel like some big turnarounds here and things falling into place next week. Definitely more details, more messages coming through, more connections being made, that sense of like knowing what you've lost. You know, if you've become too strong and defined and structured in yourself, you're starting to feel the lighter side and thinking, actually, you know, I might spend some time just titivating rather than thinking about my next business meeting, or, you know, actually I'm going to start talking to my partner instead of burying my head in the sand, that kind of thing. So there is a lot changing. I'm seeing three big leaders coming together next week and discussing something, because and this is to do with the lockdown and change and things lessening. I feel that something's gone wrong with one of them, or something hasn't worked, or there's a little sneak preview of what may go wrong, and I feel like they're collaborating a bit more rather than you know, this is your country, this is mine, this is what we're doing. They're sort of starting to get information of what's the best thing to do. I think some people have been hiding information of maybe how bad something's gone, or maybe they're just not wanting to collaborate. I don't know, but it feels like there's a better structure is going to be formed, and where some of the cases have gone up or risen, you may find it all starts plateauing out again. Just all I'm getting here is just don't rest on your laurels thinking that that is it, or it's over, or the moment we can open the doors and go out that suddenly everything's normal. Because like I say, it's the fallout that we have to deal with, not the actual collision. All right, the collision is very small compared to the rest that can be ironed out. And that I feel, and I saw this, you know, before in a reading, that there's more to come. There's more waves on the earth. There's things just coinciding, turning upside down to just sort of make absolute sure. It's like all the countries are moving around, and suddenly Europe's going to be over there, and Australia's going to be over there, and some people are going to be flung out there, and, you know, in order to get it in a better place so that people can see better. It's almost like we're being pushed around to see clearly, to get our perspective, you know, a bit more open and viewing better. So the best guidance I can give you is use this time, use it to your advantage. Think about what positives and what growth you can get out of it from a personal point of view. You don't have to suddenly get a law degree at the end of this, or suddenly become an accountant, or, you know, become a famous dancer. You know, this isn't what it's about. You could work towards that, and you could think about how you've got towards that, or taken some steps towards that, small steps, or at least made a plan of how to do that for when the time comes, or just spent time on you. You know, doing a journal, spending time looking at yourself, looking at all your patterns, you know, thinking about what career you really want to do. Is this a time for change? Is this really an opportunity to change direction? And really the answer and the wish is being granted that we've all been asking, and everything we've been manifesting. To me, this is divine timing. This is a divine timing, and the perfect time for us to be taking control of what we really want, and our desires and our dreams, and going for them and making movement towards it. Okay, making a structured movement, an active physical something which is developing, or is a development and expansion towards that. So thank you for connecting. Is anybody who's watching would like a question answered? I'm quite happy to answer a question. Anybody would like one? I didn't advertise this well today, because I was very, very much in the moment. But if anybody is watching this or would like to connect with me afterwards, then please, or anyone else who's watching afterwards, would like a private reading, then just go to my website, www.saraperrypsychic.co.uk, and you can book in for a mini reading, a quick question, whatever you want. And tomorrow is Super Saturday, so if you pay for a reading tomorrow, you can get one for $33 only, and that's a full reading, audio, telephone, Skype, written, obviously not face to face in the house because we can't do that at the moment, but any other option, okay, normally it's $57. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, please do. And if you're interested in any of the programs that I do on abundance, self-worth, or you'd like to do some private mentoring with me, please do get in touch with me. I am here, I'm regularly on Facebook, I have my YouTube channel as well. It's very easy to find me if you need to, but I'd love to hear from you anyway. And again, thank you for everyone who's been supporting me through this time, and donating so generously. It's just been phenomenal, and thank you, love you, leave you. I don't think there's any questions coming, so I shall cut off now and go back to what I was doing. See you later.